It has not been easy for the richest man in Africa, Aliko Dangote, as it has been revealed that there are certain interests within Nigeria and outside Nigeria that are keen on frustrating the crude oil refinery he operates in Lagos, Nigeria. In the last video on this issue, which you can find in the description, we talked about the role the Nigerian government is playing to downplay the impact Dangote's refinery will have on the nation. We also discussed how Aliko Dangote and the Nigerian government, through its oil agencies, exchanged words in various organized media chats where they basically disagreed with each other on facts and figures. This video, however, is alight with some new revelations that surround Dangote's refinery, and truth be told, it's a big deal as it places emphasis on the foreign influences that might be at play to also downplay Dangote's refinery and probably frustrate the refinery out of the oil business. In August 2024, in a series of posts made on X, formerly known as Twitter, David Hundeyin, an investigative journalist, made a startling revelation about Aliko Dangote's Lagos refinery. Hundeyin alleged that he was offered $500, which basically translates to 800,000 naira, to write a scathing article on Aliko Dangote's refinery and how it was harmful to the environment. Though the offer wasn't explicitly written in the email sent to Hundeyin, it implied that the objective was to create a pretext for the Nigerian government to potentially shut down or restrict Dangote's refinery operations, citing energy transition commitments and environmental policy. In David Hundeyin's words, "Last week I received an 800,000 naira offer from an international NGO called Dialogue Earth, formerly known as China Dialogue Trust, to write an article essentially saying that Dangote's refinery is terrible for the environment because something environmental concerns, something climate change, something energy transition policy, something COP28, end quote." This statement by investigative journalist David Hundeyin is actually a snippet of the full essay he wrote on the issue. It is important to note that what David Hundeyin was saying on the Dangote issue is that he feels compelled to expose what he sees as a deliberate effort by external and internal interests to undermine the economic and industrial progress of West Africa by writing against Aliko Dangote's refinery. David was very clear when he called out the international NGO Dialogue Earth that allegedly offered him money to write an article criticizing the Dangote refinery in Nigeria under the guise of environmental concerns. David Hundeyin also argues that the supposed environmental concerns were a pretext to maintain Africa's dependency on Western-controlled oil refineries, which have historically caused environmental harm in West Africa. These revelations throw more light to the public outcry of Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, on the travails his refinery has been subjected to since it began operation. The expose by journalist David Hundeyin also resonates with the recent projections by OPEC, the governing body of petroleum exporting countries, where OPEC predicted that Dangote's refinery will significantly impact Europe's oil industry, particularly in the Northwest Europe gas oil market. This implies that the successful running and operation of Dangote's refinery in Nigeria will definitely shake up international crude oil flows when it reaches full capacity, having already made an impact since operating early this year. To a large extent, there would be no need to use the refinery stationed in Europe for refining crude oil harnessed and extracted from Nigeria. We must note that Dangote's refinery has faced setbacks as it has struggled with securing Nigerian crude oil to refine, and hence has resorted to Angola, Brazil and the US to supply crude for his refinery to refine. The implication of David Hundeyin's expose has revealed the alleged schemes that had been put in place to frustrate Aliko Dangote's refinery, which apparently doesn't just involve the local schemes but the international arrangements to put him out of the oil business.